Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Tuesday edition of Today in Sports Betting. It's Thanksgiving week. Our Thanksgiving week extravaganza continues, and man, what could be more Thanksgiving than three terrible NFL games, Scott? Actually, I lied. There's just the traditional two terrible games and then a decent game at night. In fact, it should be a pretty good game at night. So, you know what? Let's start off. Just like Thanksgiving dinner, we're gonna work through the green bean salad here, and work our way all up to the way to the turkey and delicious dessert. So green bean salad, Scott, that's going to be your Houston and your Detroit. The Lions once again hosting on Thanksgiving on a short week for both of these teams. And Scott, I think it's going to make more of a difference for one team than the other. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I ended up doing a video on this game a couple of yesterday, actually. I know that some people might be tempted to take the home team as an underdog. I'm not one of those people. Detroit simply is dealing with a ton of injuries to Swift, who's their best running back by far. You saw what Adrian Peterson and Kerryon Johnson did last week. They both did absolutely nothing. And you also saw what the receiving core was like without Kenny Golladay, et cetera. They got shut out by Carolina. This team defensively is not very good. Offensively is not very good. Plus, Stafford still has the finger issue. I know he's playing through it because he's a tough guy, but at the end of the day, if he's not going to be 100% sharp and he's missing a bunch of weapons, I don't think that's a good recipe or a good combination for success. Meanwhile, Houston did have a nice win against the Patriots. I was wrong about a play that on that one, but Watson was phenomenal. And I feel like that David Johnson being out might indirectly be a good thing because it forces Houston to actually throw the ball with their best player the majority of the time.
Yeah, it's just 12 or 13 non-worthless plays they get to run. So
If you just look at how they play the game, it's a matter of, we got to give David Johnson the ball 15 times. I'm like, no,
yeah,
you don't.
I agree. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like getting 25% free plays because you don't have to give the ball to David Johnson for 3.5 yards. So no, I totally agree with that, Scott. And this is so what you're saying, to recap, the Detroit Lions, terrible offense, terrible defense, missing two of their stars, and their other star has a finger issue.
And
So
Matt Patricia's the head coach.
so you're all over the Lions then.
Sounds like it. But I took it early because I really think this line's going to cross 3. I don't think that people are going to be jumping to take the Lions after they got shut out by Carolina. Now, it is possible that people can expect to bounce back from the Lions, think there's some value here. It's just a matter of, based on where the current line is, I think this line's definitely going to cross 3. And I know that it's already started. It's gone mostly to 2.5 with juice towards the Texans. I think you'll agree with me that I'm assuming money's going to come in on Houston before kickoff.
I don't know, because you've got all the nits out there, Scott, that they're a big believer in the Thanksgiving underdog thing. So
Correct, but I'm saying if you look at the current line movement,
I know it's headed north. You're absolutely right.
headed to 3. So
Yeah,
based on that, I do think it will cross at some point.
it's 2.5 minus 120. I wouldn't doubt that. I think probably the public money has mostly been put in there. I don't know. Yeah, I would say.
It could be. I'm just saying if Golladay and Swift are both officially ruled out again, I'm assuming both of them are not going to play, but as of right now, you still can say that they're arguably up in the air. I don't think so. But if both of them are not playing, I don't know how much this line's going to move, but I do think that people are going to keep betting the Texans if those two guys are out.
Now, here's the thing. I don't like either one of these teams, but one of these teams has a serious offensive deficiency right now. I'm just going to play the under 51.5 and sit back and eat my turkey.
No, your green beans. You can't get to the turkey yet.
You're right. Eat my green beans. And this is a game of green beans without even any like little pieces of bacon or delicious garlic and nothing. This is just straight out of the.
No, this is your calorie counters Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah. This is definitely on the lighter side. I'm going to play under 51.5. I don't see. The Houston defense is terrible, but I think the Detroit offense is worse without Golladay and without DeAndre Swift. They were finally turning themselves into a little bit of a running team with DeAndre Swift, and that's been pretty much put on the shelf. So, yeah, I'm going to just play the under and enjoy my green beans as we try to make it to the next game. Any final thoughts on that one?
Not really. It's a matter of, am I a fan of either team? No. Do I like either coach? No. But at the end of the day, you have Watson, who's fully healthy with a pretty decent receiving core, and he's going up against Stafford, who's injured with a completely decimated receiving core. And I think that based on that alone, I think Houston should have an easier time sustaining drives.
I agree. All right, so now we make it to what do we call this? Kind of the rolls, the rolls of the meal here. Not terrible, but they're not great. Maybe rolls and a little bit of the drier white meat here as the Washington football team almost did it, Scott. As the Washington football teams head to Big D to take on the surging Dallas Cowboys. Both these teams stand 3-7 on the year. The number for this one, Scott, the Cowboys -3. The football team is +3, and 46 is your number. What you got here, buddy?
So I know that the Cowboys played pretty well last week. I know that they were able to get the victory over Minnesota, but I know Washington also beat this team pretty handily a couple weeks ago, and I'm trying to wonder if really much has changed. Now, it really depends on what you think of Kirk Cousins, because yes, the Cowboys won, but Kirk Cousins, once again, late in games, I don't know if you can really rely on him for a game-winning drive. Came up short. Cowboys got pretty lucky. Minnesota dropped a couple of picks there in the last drive. They converted a 4th and 8, 4th and 9, whatever, and they ended up getting the nice win there. Dalton looked pretty good. I think it's really tough. I don't want to lay 3 with this Cowboys team. If you're going to be talking about matchups between the NFC least, I'm going to take the points. Because if you're going to be expecting some awful football from both teams, you might as well get some points out of it. So for that reason, I'll go with Washington. Am I thrilled with it? No. But just because the Cowboys won one game against Minnesota doesn't change the fact that this defense isn't very good. The offense is actually not bad, assuming that Andy Dalton looks a lot better the second time facing Washington than he did the first time. But LA finally went for 100-plus yards. CeeDee Lamb's still a very good rookie receiver. They have good weapons. I still don't trust this defense at all. And I know that with the Cowboys' banged-up offensive line, Washington does have a pass rush. So I do think that's what separates Washington from Minnesota. Minnesota, who ended up trading a couple of players from the defensive line or had injuries to deal with, their pass rush has been kind of non-existent this season. Washington's very good at getting after the passer. I think that will be a problem. So for me, I'm going to take the points of Washington because I really don't like either team. I definitely do not think the Cowboys should be laying 3.
I'll tell you the biggest difference for me in watching the Cowboys last week was Zeke actually looked like he was engaged and motivated. He's kind of looked like he's been going through the motions ever since Dak went out. So I think that the Cowboys are going to look to pound the rock here.
They should.
For a lot of the reasons you said with the Washington pass rush, their banged up offensive line. I think they're going to look to get Elliott involved. I'm still not sold on this Washington offense either.
I'm not either, but I don't know how I'm really fully sold on the Cowboys offense because of one game.
Well, I'm not, and that's why I'm going to go ahead and play the under 46.
Okay, so you're all over the unders in these.
I am, yeah. Just for these 2 games, I'm definitely squarely on the side of the under. I don't think we're going to have a ton of points in either one of these games. I know that's not generally the Thanksgiving tradition, but that's not really a thing because Andy Dalton starting for the Cowboys is not generally a Thanksgiving tradition either. So I'm going to play the Cowboys and Washington football team under 46.
Okay.
All right, now we get to the dark meat, the gravy, the mashed potatoes, and a little bit of the pumpkin pie, Scott, as we got a battle there in the AFC North as the Baltimore Ravens look to make a big move there against the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers at home, giving away 445 is the number. Scott, it is put up or shut up time for these Baltimore Ravens. They are going to have to make a move. Right now, they really have no hope of catching Pittsburgh in the division, but they're going to have to start getting some wins here just to make the playoffs. They stand at 6-4. Pittsburgh 10-0 on the season. Give those Baltimore fans some reason to hope, Scott.
The truth is, based on this current spread, I'm actually really torn. Now, I know that it would make sense to take Pittsburgh because you think the line might go up, and I do think the line will probably go up based on what we've seen lately from these 2 teams. Baltimore lost a very tough overtime game to Tennessee. They hung tough. First meeting they ended up having, Baltimore probably should have won the game. They outgained them by 200-something yards or so and ended up losing because of turnovers. Baltimore proved in the first meeting they could actually run the ball against Pittsburgh. The only thing I can't get over is the decimated offensive line and losing a couple of key offensive linemen, which has hurt the effectiveness of Baltimore's ground game, which is their bread and butter. For me, I know that Pittsburgh has been on cruise control, still undefeated, etc. I got to lean Pittsburgh at this current number. It's mostly because of the fact that Baltimore's been falling apart lately. Their offensive line is definitely not what it once was. And Lamar got kind of exposed in that first game against Pittsburgh where he kept turning the ball over and he couldn't really do anything. I kind of expect that to continue because I don't think Lamar is that good of a passer from the pocket. I do think that he's a great running quarterback, but Pittsburgh, if you spy somebody, you do something, you get after the quarterback. I think Lamar's going to have some serious problems. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh does have a lot of good receivers. I do think that they can run the ball a little bit, maybe not as well as they did earlier in the year, but Big Ben looks dialed in. They have good receivers. Deontay Johnson's been great since he came back from the injuries. And you're also looking at Pittsburgh and Heinz Field. I think this game will be very close, but I'm going to lean to Pittsburgh. I just think right now they're the better overall team.
All right, very good. My uncertainty here it lies in the Baltimore offense. So I'm going to take the Steelers a team total over 25. I believe is what that's going to break down to be. Could be 20. Could be getting it. Could be 24 and a half. It's probably going to be 24 and a half or 20 and a half, somewhere in that neighborhood because it's 45 is the total, and 4 is your spread. So I'm going to take the Steelers team total over. This has been a team that's been remarkably consistent as far as the points they've been able to put on the board. They have put up 24 or more in every game this season. So I think that Baltimore, while they may get some stops, their defense still is okay. I think Pittsburgh is ultimately going to do their thing, and I think this is probably my favorite play of the day. Getting them team total over 24 and a half, 25, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, I think the one issue you might run into is if Baltimore is able to just milk the clock. But at the end of the day, their defense is good, but Pittsburgh's moved the ball decently against them the first time around. I don't even know how Baltimore's supposed to turn it around because I know that the response to Lamar struggling is we got to run the ball, we got to keep it third and short, move the chains, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But when you lose your best offensive lineman and some of your offensive lineman depth and your receivers aren't very good, how are you supposed to fix this offense right now? I don't know if you can.
I agree. And that's part of the reason I like this team total over. I think Pittsburgh's going to get plenty of opportunities. I think Baltimore's going to have to open it up and throw the ball, which is either going to result in incompletions and quick possessions, or it's going to result in big plays and scores.
I'm just saying, no offense to Baltimore, but when your quote-unquote savior is Dez Bryant in the receiving core, you got a bit of a problem. Now, I know that Dez was actually decent in last week, but this receiving core is not very good. You're looking at Hollywood Brown, Dez Bryant, you have Snead, Duvernay, who's more of a gadget guy. Like, really? This is
a team that really leans on Mark Andrews to get the first downs as far as their possession type receiver goes. He's the guy in that offense as far as a pass catcher goes. Yeah, they like to get Hollywood involved, and I'm sure they'd like to get Dez Bryant involved, but at the end of the day, it's really going to be Mark Andrews that they're going to try to get.
Yeah, Andrews on a separate category, but I'm talking about from a receiving core, just on a one-on-one island coverage situation. Do they really have anybody who can consistently get open? And the answer is no. No,
Hollywood Brown has shown a remarkable ability to not get separation since he's been in the league, and I don't see any reason why this doesn't continue against the Steelers team. So, to me, I think the Steelers are going to get plenty of possessions. I think they're going to be very, very efficient, and I like them to be able to put points on the board against this Baltimore team. I don't know what the Baltimore team is going to do. I want to take them out of the equation. I have more uncertainty about this Baltimore team. Desperate times call for desperate measures, so you never know what Harbaugh's going to have cooked up. But I do know what Mike Tomlin's going to have cooked up, and that's a solid team that just pounds the rock and saps your will to live. So I like Pittsburgh to put points on the board here.
Okay.
Is it too early to start talking about the fact that Lamar Jackson not that good at throwing the football?
And I kind of alluded to it earlier.
Yeah.
I am trying to think if there's ever been, I don't even call it regression, or just people figuring out how to stop them. Have you remembered a faster regression from an MVP quarterback, arguably ever, that wasn't entirely injury-based?
No, it's probably happened, but
I'm thinking top of my head, Cam Newton.
if you looked at his raw numbers last year, you kind of saw the writing on the wall. He had a ton of touchdown passes.
Did barely any passing yards.
Didn't throw for 3,000 yards.
That was just funny. He didn't throw for 3,000 yards, and he still had a bunch of passing touchdowns.
33, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, over 30 for sure. So yeah, it was a definite statistical anomaly that existed, because you kind of looked at that one. Yeah, there's a lot of touchdown passes, but he ain't doing nothing. There's no yards per attempt there. There's no total yards in the game, and yeah, the writing was kind of on the wall. So yeah, if Lamar isn't going to run for 1,300 yards or whatever, then I don't know. He's just an average quarterback to me.
I'm not going to throw him under the bus entirely and say that he shouldn't be a quarterback in the National Football League. I think he's good enough.
No.
You look at him and you realize that if he's your starting quarterback, your offense is going to be limited. There's a certain cap on the offense once defense has figured him out. And the thing is, defenses did this and this and this to Mahomes and Rodgers and Watson. It's like, yeah, but they make adjustments.
Right.
I don't know what adjustments Lamar can make besides simply getting better with throwing the ball.
Yeah, that's the thing. And you're seeing a case of that in Denver, where where Drew Lock came out, had some success, the league adjusted, and he has not been able to figure out that adjustment yet. And I think that's definitely part of what's happened to Lamar Jackson. I mean, realistically, from an objective standpoint, if you watch that, if you watch the Green Bay game, or if you watch the Kansas City Oakland game this week, and you're sitting there going, well, yeah, I'd rather have Lamar Jackson, then you're not really a football fan.
And I know that might sound unfair because we're comparing him to the best quarterbacks in the league, but he won the MVP last year. So
right. That's the level that allegedly he's on. He's allegedly part of that elite group of 3 to 5 quarterbacks that you can build a franchise around.
Now, I know that we disagree on this particular player. I think Kyler Murray is significantly better than Lamar Jackson.
I don't think that we disagree.
I'm saying that when it comes to Kyler Murray, I know that I've been higher on Murray than you have.
No, he's a better runner. He's without question. And we talked about this, Scott. He's a running back. He is a top 5 running back in the NFL if he were to line up at the running back position. I'm not as enamored of his ability to throw the ball as you are.
I think you're more enamored with his ability to throw than Lamar Jackson's ability to throw.
Yes. Both of them have awful mechanics.
But the reason why I bring that up is because of the fact that Lamar was regarded as being the best running quarterback in the league, which was definitely warranted because last year he basically broke the entire NFL by running the ball.
Yeah.
I think Kyler's a better runner.
Yes.
I think Kyler's a much better thrower. So if you're talking about from a mobile quarterback perspective,
yeah,
I think that Lamar's also fallen down in that category instead of just looking at overall best quarterbacks in the league.
I agree.
So, yeah, anyway, I'm not going to immediately sell everything on Lamar, but I do think that he definitely has shown a ceiling that I'm not sure if he's going to reach again.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I think defenses have figured him out, and he has not made that adjustment well here in his post MVP season. So, all right, buddy, there you go. There's your Thanksgiving Day treat. I'm stuffed. I'm going to just sit back and pop a button here, and it should be fun. It should be fun. What are you doing for Thanksgiving, Scott? I know you split time between your mom and dad's house. Did they get together for Thanksgiving? Is there?
No, that does not happen.
Okay.
I know.
I didn't know.
I usually go to Florida, see my grandparents, but unfortunately, that's not exactly an option this year. So, I'm going to be roughing it, whatever that means, eating food and watching football at home. So, I don't know if that counts as roughing it, but that's what I'm going to be doing.
It does not, because that's what I do every year. So,
it'll be fun though.
No, that's fine. All right. Well, sorry about your Florida trip, buddy.
It's all good. I'll have to accept not having a tan.
4 million other people are still flying, so it's been the busiest day for airline
peanuts. I mean, those airplane peanuts are not going to eat themselves.
Very true. Very true. Well, we thank everybody for stopping by. We wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. We're going to be back tomorrow, Scott. What are we doing tomorrow?
I don't know if you hear that. I hear some, theme music. I believe it's college basketball season.
College basketball. That's exactly right. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
There it is.
I'm not sure if TBS is playing any games, but sure.
So what we're going to be doing is basically with our college basketball shows, we're going to try to take a look at probably the two top games on the board in our opinion. Probably take
Top games being, I'd say, the most prime time game.
Yeah,
quality stuff.
Yeah, it may not be. We may not have a number one versus the Little Sisters of the Poor, but if we have a number 4 versus a team that's semi-competitive, we're probably going to go with that one. So we may not show you. We may not show you KU Pittsburgh State, but like tomorrow, for example, we're going to be doing UCLA and who do they play, Scott?
They play San Diego State.
San Diego State. When the spread in that one is what?
3.5.
There you go. So that's the kind of stuff that we're going to be looking at. So we're going to do 2 of those, the top 2 games, and then we're each going to bring one to the table. It's going to be our favorite play. Of course, it's not exactly my favorite play, because my favorite plays I'm going to sell one of my premium players, but it's going to be close to my top plays because there's going to be a ton of plays. So that's what we're going to be doing for our college basketball show. So that'll be fun. Are you ready for college basketball, Scott?
I have started researching teams, so I've been doing, my due diligence, trying to be fully, aware of all the moves that happen between teams during the offseason, et cetera.
Right.
Overall, yeah, I think so. I'm still kind of salty we didn't get a tournament last year, but that's in the past. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's in store. I know that it seems like for most consensuses, that sounded right. It sounded right. But anyway, it seems like Gonzaga is supposed to be the best team, but they also play in every single year. You always hear about Gonzaga, and they play in a joke of a conference. So it's a matter of seeing what teams will rise, what teams will be the shocker, surprising Dayton team, for example, from last year where they kind of came out of nowhere and they ended up making some serious noise. But I think it'll be fun. It's going to be interesting seeing some of the conferences' travel schedules with back-to-backs and seeing no fans involved and stuff like that. Plus, you have to wonder about all the games that might get canceled, which you've already seen a decent amount of so far this season. Hopefully, though, the crazy glue and the tape will keep the season together for the sake of a couple months.
We'll see. I don't know how you were doing. I was absolutely crushing college basketball last year. One of my best college basketball seasons in a long time. I was doing
well. I mean, in pocket, I had Dayton to win the championship at like 100-something to 1. So yeah. I had a lot of stuff on it, and unfortunately, some of that went by the wayside. But it's in the past, and it is what it is.
Can we talk about the cat from Dayton dropping to the number 5 pick?
Wait, you talk about Topin?
Yeah.
He didn't drop to 5. He dropped to he went to the Knicks. So he dropped to 7 or 8.
Huh? Where? Oh, 7 or 8. That's right. He was even lower than 5. You're right. Yeah, I thought.
I liked Topin. So I was going before the pandemic hit. I was actually going to be going to the A10 tournament because I wanted to see Topin play, and unfortunately that did not work out. But now he gets to play in New York, which is fun for him because he grew up in Brooklyn. So he is a local kid who's now going to potentially fight for Rookie of the Year. I actually think he's got a shot to win Rookie of the Year because I don't
believe there's 6 players that were drafted in the NBA that are better than him. I just don't.
In this year's draft, no. I think Edwards was mostly an upside guy. I don't want to go too deep into the draft because
no. But I just
talk about Dayton a lot. If assuming that there's going to be some fans, I don't root for the Knicks. I'm a Nets fan. I always have been. I'm not a bandwagoner. But I would actually go see the Knicks to see Obi play because he was one of my favorite college players.
Should be very entertaining. All right, so there you go. As always, everybody, if you want to do a little deeper dive into all these Thanksgiving games, they're going to have 3 deep dives available for you to dig into over there at winnersandwhiners.com, so don't forget to check that out. As always, don't forget to check out Scott and I. We each do our own standalone videos each and every day. Plus, I have my premium service available if you want to get my very best picks. Get yourself over there to Winners and Whiners and get signed up. Be happy to have you as part of the team running some great specials right now. So make yourself over there. And, that's going to do it for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at Winners and Whiners. Appreciate you guys watching. Wish you nothing but luck. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash and money and pumpkin pie back at the window, baby. You guys have a great day. Back tomorrow, talk a little college basketball, but I'm going to be the first to say it to you a couple days early. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. You guys take care. Have a great day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.